Oh my goodness. Oh my. Hello guys. Happy Monday. Oh my god, it's only Monday. I am already exhausted, guys. I worked like I don't know, 14-hour shift or something. So bear with me. I know I look horrible. I look tired. It is what it is. But we need to talk about this interview, guys. Hunter Johnson. Before we get started, by the way, these are all my theories, my opinions. These videos I make are for entertainment purposes only. So get that out of the way. This is one of the most disturbing interviews I've yet to see. Don't get it twisted. Me having to watch Dylan get asked the stupidest questions. Do you live at 1122 King Road? Bro. Do you go to U of I? Like the most basic questions, but I'm literally like, I'm in shock. I just watched this Hunter Johnson interview and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Okay, they're asking Hunter Johnson so many questions and he's laughing. To me, it sounds like he's laughing. I know we can't see him. I know he's blurred out. I know some people said that they think that he's crying, but I'm like, to me, it sounds like he is fucking laughing. And it just really pisses me off. Again, these people, all of them were interviewed the day of the crime, if not just a few hours after. Why are you laughing, bro? And people are saying, I can't believe that you guys are going after these kids. You guys are going after these kids, these poor kids. They didn't do anything. These poor children, they're in shock. Really? Because they sure don't sound like they're in shock. Okay. So, because I don't want to risk obviously showing you guys the interview, there was one time where I showed you guys an interview and the video got like removed. So, I'm not going to risk it, but I will review it. The cop says, so what do you got for me? He says, Hunter, it was like right around noon, just before then, and I called my girlfriend. Somebody called her that thought something was not right at the house, and she heard and saw a man in their house last night. Now remember, Hunter doesn't say the full conversation between Dylan and his girlfriend, Emily. But if you guys have watched all of the videos that are out there and the docuseries that are out there, what does Emily say? Emily is Hunter Johnson's girlfriend. Emily says, we didn't know that there was something this wrong because she was laughing. Dylan had been laughing on the phone. So she must have not been that scared if Dylan was laughing on the phone with Emily. This is what makes everything so weird. And these people continue to contradict themselves, right? So Hunter is saying, well, Dylan called his girlfriend, Emily, and she wanted us to come over because she saw a man the night before. She wanted us to come over to make sure that they were okay because they just locked themselves in their room. I think that's what they said. And so I was the first one to get over there. I left pretty quickly because I just wanted to make sure. And I got over there and walked up the stairs and I immediately went into Xana's room. Why would you immediately go into Xana's room? First of all. And you know what's crazy? I'll get to the crazy part later. And then I went upstairs, saw them. Were pretty uncontrollably crying. We who is we are pretty uncontrollably crying because you, Hunter Johnson, said that the girls didn't see anything. That supposedly he saved them from having to see anything horrific. So who is we are uncontrollably crying? Why would Dylan and Bethany be uncontrollably crying if you didn't say anything and if you didn't allow them to go enter Xana's room? And we didn't know what was going on. And I told them to get out of the house and to call the cops. And I went to the kitchen and grabbed a knife from the drawer because I didn't know if someone was still in the house or not. I'm sorry, but again, common sense would say that if Dylan is laughing on the phone with Emily before you even get to 1122 King Road, and she's telling you she saw a masked man, an assailant the night before, and that she's so worried and so concerned about what's going on. Wouldn't you, Hunter Johnson, the first thing that you would do when you enter 1122 King Road, or even before then, wouldn't you enter with a weapon? You would, right? You would, because Dylan allegedly told you on the phone, well, told your girlfriend that she saw an assailant. See, it doesn't make sense, right? And I grabbed the knife. It's probably still on the little table they have in the living room area, downstairs, like where the kitchen level, that level. I put the knife there after, but I grabbed the knife and I went into the room and I checked the closet and everything to make sure there was no one in there, and it didn't seem like anyone was in there. Um, and then he says, shoot, shoot. Shoot. What the fuck is so funny, Hunter Johnson? Sorry, this is just a lot. This is just a lot. Your friends, Ethan Chapin and his girlfriend, Xana, who you call your friends, you supposedly just found their bodies. A few hours later, you are being questioned by Moscow PD, and this is what you have to say? You have to say, shoot. Sorry. This is just a lot. What the fuck is so funny? I'm sorry, I don't think this is funny. And as somebody who has a degree in psychology, this is not typical traumatic behavior. This is not typical they're in shock. He says, this is just a lot. Oh, what's his name? Blank. That's his name. So they blurred out whoever's name. They all came into the house. They were coming up the stairs, and I told them to get out. So who is he talking about? Because I thought that it was Ethan's brother that showed up right after. We're supposed to believe that you, Hunter Johnson, are allegedly best friends with Ethan, but you don't know Ethan's brother. You don't know his name. And now here you're having a giddy fest. It's a little bit weird to me. And I know we're all going to see this footage very differently. And I know I always get shat on because I'm very honest with how I perceive these young people. But that's how I'm seeing it. He's giddy. He's like, I don't know. I don't know his name. And then doesn't know Ethan's brother's name. I told him he doesn't want to get in. They need to get out. And that's when you guys roughly showed up around the scene when I told them to get out. And then one of the policemen came and I showed him where I saw them. And he just said, stay where you're at. And I didn't know if there were any more people upstairs. I didn't go up there. The cops came as soon as possible. But then the cop asked him, did you go to this party last night? Hunter Johnson says, no. He says, no, I was talking with Ethan. I have texts from him from most of the night. We were talking because he wanted me to come, and I didn't really want to walk all the way over there. Yeah. Again, I find that so strange. Like, what another big coincidence, right? This is your best friend. He's trying to get you to go over to hang out, but you don't want to walk all the way over there. Aren't you just across the street, bro? It just makes me wonder, is it possible that these people all knew what was going to be taking place at 1122 King Road? I didn't want to walk all the way over there. It's literally like, I don't know, half a block away or something. The cop says, was it through Messenger or an app? And he says, no, just normal message. He said, I can go grab it. It's just in there. And the cop says, well, we can do that in a second. He said, tell me how you met Ethan. I met him during Rush in college. It's where you like try to go into a house. Cop says, is he a part of a fraternity? Yes, he is, says Hunter Johnson. And I met him there and during Rush, and I've known him ever since the fall of last year. The cop says, are you in a frat now? He says, I'm a grad student. I don't live in the house anymore, but I was. Okay. Then the cop is getting all confused about frat houses. I'm like, why the fuck are you lying on camera, bro? We know that all the cops there know about every single fraternity there, every sorority. Why are you pretending you don't know what the frats and the sororities are? Because y'all are like this. So stop lying, copper. The cop says, I don't really know any of these names. I don't really know any of these names. And Hunter Johnson says, it's totally okay. Again, what the fuck is so funny? Because there's so many people that come in here and they get upset that we're mocking this entire fucking case, this botched investigation, this corrupt police department. So many officers that, in my opinion, should have been fired since back in the sticker case incident, right? And here we have a cop say, I don't really know frat names and sorority names. I think it's hilarious. Oh. And then Hunter Johnson is like, oh, it's totally okay. Y'all think my parodies are fucked up, but you don't think this is fucked up? There's somebody claiming to be best friends of Ethan Chapin. And he's literally fucking laughing hours after his friends were found unalived. That is fucking disturbing to me. But that's just me, right? Just my humble crime sleuth opinion. So then the cop says, okay, so your girlfriend. So she gets a call from around noonish, basically says that there's someone in the house. She tells you, so you head over to the place. And Hunter says, yeah, she was on speakerphone. So we heard all about it and we all kind of got up and we're going to go check on them. Cop says the same sorority. Is that how they know each other? Hunter says, yes, they were roommates. Okay. He says, well, where's Ethan? Well, he's in a different fraternity. He stayed the night over at their apartment. I stayed there and she stayed there. Where? Where? Because if I was the cop asking that, where did you stay? This is not too clear, actually. When cops do quadruple homicide investigations, they need to be asking clear, concise, objective questions and getting clear, concise answers back, right? This is not clear. Says he was in her room. I'm assuming that Hunter Johnson is referring to Ethan being found in Xana's room. Cop says, okay, what time? So I'm trying to figure out who did not go to the party last night. You did not go to the party last night, right? Hunter Johnson says, no. Cop says, so you and your girl go to the party. He says, no, we just hung out. Either, Okay. And then you walked up the stairs. Hunter says, when I walked into the house and like entered the code to get into the house they were in. Wait a damn minute, Rondell. Wait a goddamn minute, Rondell. That's from Dave Chappelle, by the way. Why are you entering a fucking code, sir? We all know, everybody and their mama knows now, by year 3, the people who have had their eyes wide open coming to this channel because we've gone through all the legal documents. What did we find in the legal documents? The house, the door was wide open. So many neighbors have mentioned this in interviews. So many people passing by have mentioned that the door was wide open. So why the fuck is Hunter Johnson having to enter a code? See, more contradictions. Hunter says they were on the very bottom floor, like right next to the front side. And they heard me come and they were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And Hunter Johnson says, what's going on? So here, Hunter Johnson again is contradicting previous stories, previous things that he's told law enforcement, right? Because you are saying, Hunter Johnson, in this interview, that as soon as you walked in there and as soon as the girls heard you walk in there, that the girls were already freaking out. The girls were already like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So why would they be, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God? If they literally just talked to your girlfriend, Emily, on the phone, and Dylan was giddy, and Dylan was laughing on the phone with Emily. So all of a sudden, 3, 2, 1, door comes open. Action. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Get the fuck out of here. Do you see how this doesn't make any sense? They are within walking distance. Hunter Johnson and Emily are just a few feet away from where Dylan and Bethany were at. Just a few seconds ago, when you guys spoke on the phone, you were giddy and you were laughing on the phone with Emily and with Hunter on speakerphone. And then magically, as soon as Hunter walks in there, Dylan and Bethany start freaking out. It seems very fucking scripted to me, right? He says that's when I walked upstairs and said we didn't know what was going on. I checked it out. And how did you get the code to the front door? Says the cop. We just know it because we're all friends. The problem with that is that everybody fucking knew it. So many people knew that code. And it just makes me wonder, there was a massive group of people that they had shared that code with. And imagine if that code had been shared by that massive group of people that already knew the code. Then the whole town fucking knows it, right? Cop says, when was the last time that you were over at? He says, the last time before was yesterday. He says, and what were you doing there yesterday? We were pre-gaming the football game for the fans. Cop says, gotcha. Gotcha. Was she there? No, she was at the football game. What time did you get there? He says, I would say it was roughly either noon or 1, like somewhere around there. What time did you guys leave? We left their house and went to a different apartment at the Whitesides. I would say roughly like 2:30. Okay. And then everyone left and no one was there. We all left together. So last time we were there was 2:30. And then he says he was there the night before yesterday, Friday night. Cop says, so you walk in the door, and are in the bedroom down on the first floor. Obviously, they're kind of freaked out, and you see them. You head upstairs and hit that open area where the kitchen and all that stuff is. where the couches are. I walk in and I look into Xana's room because the door was like someone open. Was the door open or was it not open? What is somewhat open? If I'm a cop asking this, I'm going to say, what is somewhat open? Is somewhat open halfway open, a third of the way open, a quarter of the way open? Because in my opinion, it must have been pretty fucking open if Dylan was able to see Xana, see her full body position, see that her feet were pointed in a very specific direction, right? He says it was somewhat open and then I opened it and I told him to get out and call the cops because it seemed a little, I didn't know what I was seeing. Like I told him to get out. He says, do you know of anyone that has it out for Ethan or Xana? How long have they been dating? Has it been a minute? He says, yeah, they've been dating for a little bit. Again, this cop isn't even giving time for Hunter Johnson to answer the questions. Why are you okay? You asked if anyone has it out for Ethan and Xana, and then you don't let him answer, and then you're like, have they been dating for a little while? Okay. He says, yeah, they've been dating for a bit. Why don't you go back to the question? Who has it out for Ethan and Xana? Because that's a very important question. He says they've been dating for like, I would say 8 months probably. He says, no problem with Xana's ex? He says no. He said, did Ethan have an ex? She did. He did, but she doesn't go here, you know? Okay. Then he says, I don't know anyone who would have it out for them. He says, how well did you know Xana? Well, Maddie and Kaylee. I knew Xana. Here, more bullshit, in my opinion. I knew Xana. Knew Xana because we were all friends. Yeah, we were all friends together and friends with Xana for a long time. He says, Maddie, I was an acquaintance with. I really didn't know her that well. I just saw her at her house every once in a while and said hi and have conversations with her. I didn't really know her super well, like I knew Ethan and Xana. And then Kylie. Kylie? Who the fuck is Kylie? Who the fuck is Kylie? Y'all get mad at me. You can't even say the last name of the Gonsalves. You can't even say Chapin right. Nika, how disrespectful. Well, what the fuck do you think about this shit? Here we have Hunter Johnson calling Kaylee Kylie. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? Kylie, bro. Kylie. Kylie? Wow. Somebody who actually hung out with, well, near the vicinity of Kylie and Maddie on a daily basis and doesn't even know her name. Calls her fucking Kylie. That's fucking weird. Says Kylie? I didn't really know at all. Awkward. Awkward. Cop says nothing on social media. Nothing's been posted. Nothing going on around there. He says, no. Cop says, let me go grab my phone, my camera. Can I have your phone so I can grab some pictures of those? That's crazy. He's out here grabbing his phone. And the cop is grabbing his camera. He says, this is the last text from yesterday. And Hunter Johnson's going through his phone, going through the messages that Ethan sent him, right? He sent this picture to me And then I asked if you still guys are still like this, and he said, "Yeah, where you at? Okay." He says, "Can you go back a little bit? Can you go back?" And then the cop's like, "That's the afternoon," which is again weird because here we have Hunter Johnson saying that Ethan was texting him at night. So why are you showing him afternoon text? Show us the last ones that he sent you. He said, "So that's him trying to get you to go to this party, huh?" He said he was trying to get us to go to the pregame at Santa's in their house. This was the pregame, and then this was I was asking about the party that night, right? He said, "I'm just gonna grab," like he's grabbing a picture, taking screenshots or something. The cop. He says, "Anything else you can think of? Um, anything that maybe you've been talking to over the last couple weeks, maybe that have been bothered by?" He says, "No, can't think of anything, honestly." Okay. This cop, bro, did he say that's kind of gay? He did. Is he trying to be cool? Is he trying to be fucking cool here? He's trying to be cool around some frat boy, half his fucking age. Get the fuck out of here. I'm watching it, by the way, at the same time. This is pissing me off. It's kind of weird for me to say, I'll just get the next number, starting number 4 now. Whatever it is, it's kind of gay. Bro, you're a grown ass man. Who else out there should I talk to you sooner than others that I didn't get to meet them on the way? Them you already talked to, right? He says, you already talked to blank. He says, I think so. And then you already talked to you, blank. They're blanking and blurring out the names of who Hunter Johnson is suspecting they talked to. He said, well, why don't you go talk to Ethan's twins? And that's it. That's the interview. He didn't go into the house. He wouldn't be of much help, but you can talk to him if you wanted to. You know what's crazy? In the Prime doc, you know what's crazy? In the Prime doc, he calls her Kayla. He called her fucking Kayla. Here, he's calling her Kylie. It's Kaylee. Like, I don't know, but you would think that after all the amount of the attention that this case has got, he would know all of their names by now. We still here get in trouble for mispronouncing last names of some of the victims or some of the family members because English is not my first language. But here we have Hunter Johnson calling her Kayla and then calling her Kylie. Okay. I'm not throwing shade, but it's something to keep our eyes on, right? Because this is very strange. These are people that they hung out with constantly, constantly. And you know what's also weird? I'm analyzing his body language. Why are his hands always in his pocket? What do you guys think that says about him? He didn't really know Kylie. He didn't really know Kayla. But you came out to the cops with her when they called for noise disturbance at 11:22. Y'all remember that? Wasn't that a little bit odd? And what's also interesting to me is that people are always saying that Kaylee had way more friends and that Kaylee was way more social than Maddie. That's supposedly why Kaylee was the one being stalked, right? Most of the friends that came forward, they were all friends of Maddie's. Okay, Maddie had the most amount of friends that spoke on her behalf, that spoke at her memorial. Kaylee only had two people. Only two people come forward and talk about her, right? Showalter then was also questioned and came out. And what did he say? He said that he was Maddie's friends, and that he didn't know who that other lady was. I don't know who that lady is. I don't know Kylie. I don't know Kayla. I don't know who that lady is. And now Hunter Johnson is saying he had no idea who Kaylee was, to the point where he even mistook her name and called her Kylie. We know that the family of Kaylee, we know that the Gonsalves family has been the most vocal about this entire case, and has even mentioned that this case was probably all about Kaylee. It was all about Kaylee. This case is centered around Kaylee and that she was the target, when in reality, it sounds like Kaylee was one of the least popular of all the roommates. Like, a lot of people didn't really know her. A lot of people maybe knew her on social media, but it doesn't sound like a lot of people actually knew her in real life or maybe even liked her. It sounds like she was the least popular of the roommates. That doesn't mean that Kaylee was not the target. We don't know. But it definitely makes me wonder that maybe we should not be looking at Kaylee. We know that Kaylee was not supposed to be there. Was she just collateral damage? Why? Also, with the cop, uh, why is Hunter Johnson telling the cop from the get-go that he only went to Xana's room? Why would you just be so, like, upfront with that? Do you think that that's just him being direct, being specific about what he did, or do you think that maybe he's not being truthful? And am I missing something? Because none of this interview that I'm watching here with you guys, it does not align with the 911 call. It does not match. Okay. Then people are going to tell us, leave him alone. He is in shock, but he sure is quite giddy from the sounds of it. Doesn't seem to be too much in shock, right? And also, wasn't the front door wide open? So why does he mention using the code to unlock the door if it was already open? Does that not stand out to any of you guys? Also, I thought that he had grabbed the blade before going to Xana's room. Maybe I misheard. When did that happen? Again, the door being left open. Why is he having to punch in a code, right? And then he claims they called 911 after he saw them, but yet in the 911 call, we can hear him. We can hear him going to the room and calling out for Xana and calling out for Ethan. And then he proceeds to tell everyone to get out. That's contradicting already. Also, Emily said the girls were coming out of the house with their hands over their mouths. So then why did he have to use a code to get in if he was the first one there and if the girls were already coming out? Do you see that? Another contradictory statement. None of the stories are aligning. Okay. They do not align. They have changed several times. Listen to him here, then listen to the dateline, then listen to the 911 call and tell me it's not contradicting. His story does not add up. Just like Dylan's story, they know something. So that's all I have for you guys today. I actually have to get to work in like 7 minutes, so I will not have enough time to go through the chat. But thank you guys for all who joined me. Let me know what you thought about this interview. If you watched the entire interview that I just revised and gave you my opinion on, if you think that Hunter Johnson is somebody that is suspicious, I'm not saying he did anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying maybe knows more. Please vote in the chat, but also in the comment section, leave a 1. If you think that he is just frozen shock face, leave it 2. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening and see you soon. Take care.